the games begin.
Congrats on this movie.
Thank you.
And it did like a fantastic job with this.
She did a great job. Amazing job.
It's really, honestly, it does not feel like someone's first film.
No.
Not even a little.
No. And she had this, I mean, not to blow smoke, but it's worth it because every actor wants to feel like someone's captaining the ship. You know, even though we're like, I want freedom. And it's like, no, we need to know that somebody is captaining the ship and that they know what they want so that they can convey that to us. And she always was spot on with exactly what she wanted. It did not come with an arrogance. It did not come with an entitlement, which I think sucks creative energy out of a space. She was just so open of like, hey, let's tell the story, do it together. And it was just a real free environment.
What was she actually like giving you direction? Because obviously she's worked with so many talented directors and she's an actor. So how was she conveying what she needed?
Yeah, it's a great question. Cause I think it was, it's from the perspective that she knew, it's almost like she knew what we were going to ask, you know? So it's kind of like, you're probably thinking this, where's the camera here? What's going on? What am I needing right now? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so, and then she just gave the answer to the question that we were already going to ask, which was nice, you know? And like, she also knows that we are needy artists that are just like, was that all right? Is that what you want? And so like, just the encouragement and the guidance but guidance in a way that is simple, but is on point. It's not vague. So it's like, she just knew the game, which was great.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the film is the way that she doesn't focus on the gruesome details.
Yeah.
It's very much told from the perspective of the women.
Yeah.
Can you sort of talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I play this character, Ed Burke, who is really detached and not a nice guy. And a part of a culture that was incredibly and continues to be demoralizing and objectifying to women. And she parallels that with this story of Rodney Alcala, who had left a string of victims. And you heard these victims' stories. You also heard their voices muted, and just that kind of the culture playing into that. But you're right, it's not glorifying the serial killer. It's not putting that person on a pedestal. If anything, it's kind of a B story. I mean, Rodney is, to what he left in his path and their stories and then what was going on in the culture at the time.
Yeah, I would like to think that, like, I'm not a fan of social media the way some people are, and I'm not a fan of having cameras everywhere in society.
Sure.
But the one good thing is I would like to think a monster like this couldn't exist in today's day and age.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'm a kid of the 70s, and I remember this show. I remember watching it, but didn't have enough of a memory to know how much I saw of it. But just the fact that this guy got on the show is baffling to me. And it's heartbreaking because it's the 7 or 8 stories that were actually documented, but they think it was like 130.
Yep.
You know, and you just go, how did that happen? And you're right. I mean, there's so much more of a focus and attention on what's going on because of media. And you would hope that it wouldn't happen today.
I'm going to throw a curveball now into the interview.
Oh, snap.
Very early in your career,
Hey.
You did an episode of The Sopranos, Dawson's Creek, and Sex and the City in the same year. What the hell
Was it the same year, really?
Yeah, I did a little research.
Oh, that's nice.
What was that like, those 3 projects, very early in the career?
I was living in New York. This was late 90s. And those Sex and the City, and I would say maybe Dawson's Creek also, and so they were like really the hot shows. And I was doing commercials at the time. I was always the guy. My type was not all there. And so I was always just a goofy guy, which I was loving. And then I remember getting these roles. I was a nurse oncologist on Sopranos, and then I was a photographer's assistant on Sex and the City. And I was a doctor on Dawson's Creek. And I was so stoked to just be playing. I don't even know if any of my characters had names. But I was so stoked to be on those sets and so nervous, Stephen. I was so nervous. I remember on Sopranos, I was a nurse oncologist to Uncle Junior, and I had to give him chemo. And when I get nervous, sometimes my hands will shake. And I was like, I'm going to be the shaking nurse giving chemo to Uncle Junior, a gangster. And thankfully I didn't, but I was petrified and excited at the same time.
Also, I think the key thing though is landing those roles early in the career is it had to be a boost to your ego. Like, oh, what I'm doing is working.
I would like to say it was a boost to my ego. I was I was always just like, is this okay? I was just kind of which has played into my career, but just like, I was a nervous, like, is this all right? Is that all right? Is this going to happen again?
Nothing's changed since then to Woman of the Hour.
To Woman of the Hour.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, am I doing it right?
Am I doing it right? Is that right? Is this guy a douche enough? But I remember soon after that, I think, well, maybe a couple of years is when I booked Arrested Development, and then I came out to LA.
I also have to touch on, of course, I want to make sure I say it right, Dream Productions from the world of Inside Out.
Oh, which I have not seen.
Well, I haven't seen it either yet, but it comes out in December on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And so what I know, are they like mini episodes? Like what, do you know?
I don't know. I should know. Pixar, and I apologize. I should know. I think I remember doing Toy Story and doing Forky Ask a Question.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're. I don't think they are. I think they're episodes.
I could be wrong, of course, and anyone watching this should not take this as fact. But I want to say there's like mini interviews or mini episodes of each character. Like there's one on fear, there's one on. Okay. But I could be so wrong about this.
You, I think, know more than I do. Because I remember recording them a couple of years ago, and I was in Rome doing Decameron, and as well as what you would do, and exactly. And I was so like, I don't think I was very focused, so I don't remember much.
Last thing for you, because I'm just about
stuffed with pasta.
I'm just about out of time. All I heard was good things about Sketch.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, Perry, who I think did the interview with you, just raved about it.
I know. I didn't see you that day at Collider. Were you there?
I was there, but I got later. I was doing half the interviews, and I arrived later. You were like 9 or 9:30,
we were early,
and I started at like 11.
Yeah.
So my question for people that don't know anything about it, what can you tell people about it?
Oh, well, speaking of Inside Out, we describe it like Inside Out meets Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg.
Of course.
And it's about a little girl who is drawing out her grief and they come to life. And it's just, Seth Worley directed it, and it's such a beautiful movie, and I really can't wait for people to see it.
On that note, always great to see you.
So good to see you.
And congrats on this movie.
Thanks, brother. Always good to see you.